hello, and ahoy hoy, and welcome to another episode of Tootie's Toy Box. Let me make sure I'm live. All right, it worked out this time. Very cool. Very cool. As you can see, I am in a most chipper mood today because we're going to have some fun this episode. The last couple episodes have been maybe a little bit heavier than I kind of wanted them to be, especially the last week's episode. Hold on, let me do this. So we're going to have some fun. I want to have a little bit of fun with you guys today. So today I have a really, really fun topic. As you can see, the evolution of memes is what we will be speaking on today. Because you know what? We literally see them every day. We're passing them on to each other every day. So let's talk. Let's talk about how they started. Let's talk about where they're headed. I'm so ready. I'm so ready to do this. And I did do a lot of research on it. I'm not going to come at you with some bullshit and just show you fun, silly memes. While I am, that's not the only thing we're going to do today. But before we get started, if you like this episode, do me a favor, leave a thumbs up. Super free to do. If you really, really like this episode, do me a favor and subscribe. I am on the desperate hunt to find 1,000 subscribers in my very first year of doing Tootie's Toy Box. Tootie's Toy Box turns 1 year old on July 2nd. So, it's kind of asking a lot, for me to hit that goal by July 2nd. So let's try to hit it by the end of 2026. Still very optimistic, still very possible. In fact, nothing in this world is impossible. So with that said, let's get started. The evolution of memes, like I said, we send them every single day. If you're chronically online, sort of like I am, you're sending them almost 24/7. You're sending them the second you wake up because memes are hilarious. And honestly, they've become a way to stay connected with your favorite people. The world is getting busier and busier, scarier and scarier, more and more different. And people don't really know how to approach how different the world is actually changing at such a rapid pace. So this is what we do to stay connected. When people tell you to touch grass, what they mean is don't forget reality exists. It's not all internet shit, which makes sense. Makes absolute sense. To want to make sure that people stay in touch with their own reality as opposed to living through the idea that the humor from memes and the irony that we get from memes and reels that we see is not real. It's not reality, and that's something that is very important for us as a whole society to remember. But you know what, let's have some fun. Let's get started. So how I wanted to start this was literally talking the history of memes, and I did write it down. I'm not going to bore you guys too much with it, but man, as you guys know, we here at Tootie's Toy Box do our best to take our own notes, write our own research, as opposed to letting AI do it for us. I try to come up with the best ideas, but I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I do take suggestions, and I do try to gather the best summaries from ChatGPT when I'm in a pinch, or what is it, Gemini, whatever one I use. I don't use it often enough to know what the fuck I use. I'll tell you that much. Okay, so meme evolution, science. In 1976, the term was coined originally by British evolutionary biologist Richard Dawkins in a book called The Selfish Gene. It comes from the Greek word mimeme, I think I'm saying that right, which means that which is imitated. Eventually, the word was shortened to the word meme, and it then eventually became defined as a unit of cultural transmissions, such as ideas, catchphrases, fashion trends, or even ways of building arches. The human culture gene, the human culture gene pool, if you will, is what it is. And essentially, that is kind of what it is. As I've mentioned in previous casts, we are the internet. Our brains, as we interconnect with people, when you hear somebody say, oh my God, I was just about to say that. When you hear somebody say, oh my God, I was just thinking that. The internet is real. That is the interbrain connecting with the other brain. When somebody walks up to you and they're steaming angry, you feel that. When somebody walks up to you and they're kind of a creep, you feel that. When somebody walks up to you and they're extremely bubbly and joyful, you feel that. The internet is real. It's survival, in fact. It's biology. If we didn't have the internet, if we didn't have that initial instinct about people, a lot of us would be dead. A lot of us wouldn't survive the world, because what is also human nature is we're very trusting. We try our best to be very trustworthy. of everybody. That also is very human nature. So biology, creation has developed these other survival tactics that lead us to know, oh, don't go near that guy. He's having a bad day. That's all of that is real, and all of that is the original internet, the original computer. So the again goes back to the human culture gene pool. Commercial. When the gene pool, uh, when the actual gene pool interacts with other things, then evolution happens. If this gene interacts with this gene, so that suddenly whatever happened, what was originally there turned into something else even more original. And I think that's what Richard Dawkins was trying to explain when it came to. Oh, I pushed pause instead of mute. My bad. I would have taken forever. Anyway, and I think that's what he was just trying to explain, is that the way our genes evolve and develop through time is the same way memes have evolved and developed. And again, this is in 1976, before anything of what is happening today has ever even existed. Um, but even previously to that, memes have been around since the 1800s. The very first memes of the turn of the century were called trade cards. They began mass marketing them around the Victorian era of the 1880s, and these were the first in what we know as commercials or advertisements today. They're marked with silly pictures, puns, catchy slogans. These were the actual first commercials. We didn't have television in the 1880s. I believe there was what's called stop motion picture or whatever it's called. Um, the one where the words show up and I'll get you, Sonny. Those ones. But I think this even predated those that type of technology. So I want to share with you some of these trading cards or some of these trade cards from the 1880s, which dates exactly to the Victorian era. So show on stream. So here's the first one. Let me turn my phone down. So here's the first one. It's called Pollywogs, the 5-second cigar. So it's a silly card that shows two frogs smoking next to a mushroom. And then as we see on the back side of the card is all the information, probably the prices. I can't really see it that close, but probably the prices of the cigarettes. It's just basically an advertisement, a silly advertisement that people would keep because they're silly, they're entertaining, they're fun to look at. I have another example for you guys. Let me pull it up. It's right next to this one, actually. Hold on. Here's another one. Again, clearly from the Victorian era. I love the way the art actually is. It's so simple and at the same time so very pretty. The sailboat in the background here is pretty neat looking. The couple that's here looking at the waves, looking at the sailboat. And it's a simple advertisement for L&P coats or thread. I'm not sure what it's advertising. I don't know if it's advertising a coat or if that's the name of the guy, or if it's just advertising really good thread for this product. Choose the best shade. And there's the slogan, choose the best shade. And again, 1880s to 1920s is when these actually were made popular. These are indeed the very first original memes that we ever experienced in this culture. Let's move on. We're gonna jump just a little bit far ahead into the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, more into our era. Trade cards quickly turned into trading cards and ventured from sports figures to cartoons to movie scenes and many things in between. Media such as Mad Magazine, which featured Spy versus Spy. The Garbage Pail Kids from the 1980s were also started also as a trading card. This is where they were often used to make funny, absurd, ironic political jokes. That actually was a thing, and actually was a thing for years. Actually, the political side of humor and really used as propaganda. But still, nonetheless, it was memes that were being used for this purpose. There's the Pollywogs one. Let's see if I can skip to the very first, very original, real, if you will, and maybe not the very first, but the very first by in modern media as far as the late 1900s goes. So this is the very first time that Spy versus Spy made a cartoon, and this is the introduction to that cartoon. Um, Spy versus Spy started as a comic strip in the Mad magazine, which literally is just a magazine filled with memes. So here's the Spy versus Spy intro. Now, tell me that would not be considered the very first reel of the 1970s or whatever. If you've never seen a meme or a reel in your life and you jumped back to this as the very first one, you'd believe that it was the very first one because of the way it's done. It's very quick. It's only a 16, 17-second clip, and something funny happens to two very popular characters in pop culture. That is meme. That is real. That is meme. You know? So it's just interesting to understand and know that these things have existed um, far before us, really. Far before we ever, or me personally, ever came about. Um, so it's just really really interesting to me that I lost my place. And here's the thing is things like Mad Magazine, things like the Garbage Pail Kids actually spawned even bigger forms of media. Mad Magazine turned into, ooh, my mouse stopped working. Mad Magazine turned into Mad TV, the sketch comedy show that came out in the mid 90s. And the Garbage Pail Kids movie came out in the late 80s, grossing out every human being that ever existed. Let me move. I want to show you guys Alfred E. Newman, who is I'm going to run through these. I'm showing you I'm spoiling all the memes that I want to show you guys that I'm going to eventually show you. Something tells me I should have went the other way. Oh, here we go. This has been around for a very long time. This one specifically here, what, me worry? Like that's a very popular one. Here he is as Obama. Here he is picking his nose. So Alfred E. Newman was king of memes. Was the original white people humor. Was the original E-Bombs World. The original who's another good one? Leave it in the comments if you find a really another good meme worthy god of memes. I should know them. I follow all of them. But very first one of our generation. What, me worry? Ha ha ha, that's so funny. Right? Isn't it silly? Okay. The 1990s boomed the meme era into a whole new era, starting with the famous Dancing Baby of 1996, and also the Yo Quiero Taco Bell dog. Now, I didn't get anything from the Yo Quiero Taco Bell dog, but do you guys remember the Yo Quiero Taco Bell dog? Yo Quiero Taco Bell. Hold on, let me go back here. I want to see if there's any chat available, just in case. We're going to take a quick second to respect the chat, son. Respect the chat. I don't know if there is a chat. Let's see. 4chan and Reddit. Hi, Mikey. 4chan and Reddit are huge when it comes to the history of memes. You're absolutely right about that. I did write that down. It was in the early 2000s that actually started becoming a thing, where 4chan and Reddit absolutely took meme world by storm and actually took it over. In the early to mid 2000s is when anyone can edit a meme any way they wanted. These were often a set image with words in white text. You saw a bunch of those pass by. We're gonna get to those eventually. But you're right. 4chan was huge when it comes to the history of memes. You're absolutely right about that. There's one I wanted to show you from the 1990s. One that most people will remember, even if you were born in the 1990s. You certainly saw this meme. Now, if you're not watching this live, I warn you, some of the things that I'm going to be showing is probably going to be copyrighted and probably edited out. But that's what I'm saying. Watch it live with me, because look at me pointing at you. Watch it live with me, because then you won't miss out on all the shit that I get to post before YouTube starts to copyright me and take it down. But I don't give a fuck. So let's move on to the next one. Hold on one second. Now, this is a classic. This is one that I know everybody my age is going to remember. Maybe some of you will, but this was one of the originals. Also, mind you, this was one of the original uses CGI in human life form. So this baby was featured in an episode of Ally McBeal, which was a very popular show on Fox in the late 90s, early 2000s. In the episode, Ally McBeal thinks she's pregnant. So she thinks that she sees this dancing baby everywhere she looks, and she's just hallucinating. And at that point in time, pop culture wasn't ready for CGI so much yet. It was in a very shitty place. I think personally they've regressed backwards into what CGI was becoming, but this is prime real estate when it comes to CGI and its original use and its original form. And if you ask me, the dancing baby is pretty damn good. Let's watch them. Let's watch them dance.
I can't stop this feeling deep inside of me. Girl, you just don't realize what you do to me. When you hold me in your arms so tight, you let me know everything's alright.
It's okay. So if you don't know what that is, your first thought is probably Guardians of the Galaxy. I get it, because that was my second thought. Right, I was like, oh my god, it's totally on Guardians. It's also in Pulp Fiction or Reservoir Dogs. I think it's Reservoir Dogs. It's also in Reservoir Dogs. Very popular song, but like Ally McBeal, this is for me personally, this was number one. I think for a lot of people personally, this was the number one meme that you think of when you think of original memes. The dancing baby, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, he getting it in. He was getting it. That dancing baby was getting it. And it really made history, that episode of Ally McBeal, because it was a big deal. I remember the promos for it, the commercials for it were like, tune in because a special surprise is going to happen. And then they showed little teaser snippets of the dancing baby and her like freaking out and rubbing her eyes and like hallucinating, like, what am I really seeing this? Is this really happening? And that was the whole like premise of the episode, is like, isn't she pregnant? And so, it made for good TV. It made for good primetime television back in the mid 90s. So one of the original 1990s memes, ladies and gentlemen, the dancing baby. Before the internet, before we can actually like chat, with each other the way we can do now, the way I'm doing now, before all of this even existed, this existed, and it was very, very popularized, and it took pop culture by storm. This is the original sending memes. And again, we weren't necessarily able to send it to each other back then. We were able to acknowledge that it exists. Hey, did you check out that dancing baby? And we were able to go online. That is true. We were able to go online and say and watch clips of this exact thing. Probably YouTube. I'm sure YouTube was probably available back then. I don't remember. I think I remember YouTube around 2000, 1999 maybe, being around, but it certainly wasn't at all what it is today, not even close. So there's that. But this really did. This is one of the hugest ones that took the entire nation, maybe the entire globe, by storm, was the dancing CGI baby. Again, in the early to mid 2000s is when it was free form to edit a meme any way they wanted. And these were often a set image with words in white text. And again, this was something that was extremely popularized by 4chan. And I don't know if it was Reddit back then. It was something else, but it certainly was 4chan. 4chan certainly has their footprint in what memes are today, for sure. I want to show you a couple of those too. Hold on. Is my music too loud? I feel like it is. It's blasting in my ear, but I don't know if you guys can hear it. Early MySpace. See, here's the thing. Early MySpace had everything. Everything that I'm about to show you. This is where I literally used to screenshot or save image. We didn't really screen shit stuff back then, but like save image type shit is what we did. And a lot of those were all of these. And they all evolved into the most ironic things too. Let me find. Okay, so this is the first one. Do you guys remember the dinosaur? today is the oldest I've ever been and the youngest I'll ever be. The memes actually, this, people will say this is the original meme right here. Is this exact one. The dinosaur is the one that holds my memory the most. The ginger kid with the braces and the vest, the red vest, that's another one. That was one of the originals. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend was another, the one that was smiling crazy. That's another one of the original ones. But they always had these texts, these white, bold texts above them. And then eventually, remember when these types of memes were popular? Yes, we do. Eventually, all of these texts started to become ironic. They started to become a thing of like top text, bottom text. They started to become that with actual memes. They just started to become nonsense. The one does not simply meme was another one of my favorites. One does not simply open the refrigerator and they were just stupid shit like that. This one says specifically, one does not simply make top text, bottom text meme easily. It just breaks that whole fourth wall, and it just like gets meta on you. Now, meta memes are hit and miss. I actually should have made a segment for meta memes, but I did not. So this is as far as it goes with the meta memes. In the mid 2000s, one of my favorite memes was made, and I think it was my actual start in exploring the internet more. Being an old lady, because it was a brand new technology, the only thing I wanted to do as a seventh grader who was online was be in chats. And back then, chats weren't what they are now. It was chat rooms inside of AOL. And the only thing you did was ASL. You just asked people their age, what gender they were, and where they were. ASL, age, sex, location. That's what you were always asking people back then. And then somebody who was close enough, you wanted to get to know them, you talk to them or whatever. Again, this is seventh grade, ladies and gentlemen. I was either doing that or I was bombing people. Bombing is the original troll, by the way. If you were bombing someone, it meant you were absolutely saturating their computer system with virus and trying to clog their system and clog the memory. And I remember doing that as a seventh and eighth grader. That was one of the first things I learned how to do, was how to troll. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I am an original troller. Yeah. What a disgusting piece of shit. But yeah, I used to spam bomb a lot of people. And back then, the way you spam bombed is you would copy and paste random shit, and it was always symbols and it was always this stuff. And back then, the computers didn't know what the hell it was that you were sending. So eventually, if you sent it enough times and repeat, and it clogged up their chat or it clogged up their whatever, their memory, their computer would freeze. And that was a form of literally trying to get back at somebody who was bothering you, essentially. I don't know if you guys remember ever doing that and you were a piece of shit like I was. Please leave it in the chat so I don't feel alone. But yeah, that was a real thing that we did, and I did it. It was fun. Punting. We also called it punting, I believe. Punning or punting, one of those two. But yeah, it was a legit thing that we did in early chat room experiences and early chat room days, because we didn't understand what memes were back then. We just knew, that's funny, but we didn't have the ability to send it to anybody. You know what I mean? One of my favorite, what I was saying, I got sidetracked. One of my favorites, again, that totally convinced me that this is for me. Watching streams, yeah, that's for me. Yeah, the internet, yeah, that's totally for me. Was this? I was completely sold and completely just like, oh my God, like this internet shit is for me. I should probably do this when I'm not sharing, huh? But it's okay. Aha! I found it. Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome.
Hello? hajduk. Zsitero, jubírám, meste, vercsírá. Álo, álo.
I'm probably the only one who still finds this funny, but I don't give a shit because it is hilarious. And truthfully, that was definitely one of the very first things that I personally have ever experienced on the internet that just had me like completely fall in love with what the internet was doing and what people were culturally doing with the internet. They literally were taking the internet and making it for themselves. This was the original YouTube. This was the original idea of anybody can be a creator, anybody can create, and thus spawning people like Mr. Beast, who we see, and all these other streamers that we see today, and even older streamers that we don't see anymore. I'm trying to think of a few. I immediately can't think of any names, but there are a few that actually have passed on. Let It Rock. I would have loved to, but I didn't want to. I'm trying my hardest not to get copyright on any of this shit. But it's probably gonna happen, and I would have loved to let it keep going because I love that song. When I was researching all of this stuff, I was having such a good time because I haven't seen that video. Excuse me, I haven't seen that video in years, and it brought such joy and it brought such good memories back to me. Where I'm suddenly right back at home at my mom's house in my room on my computer, like literally searching YouTube when YouTube was just this blank white canvas, this red bar on top, and all it said was search. There was no videos under it. It was just a search bar, red bar with on top with YouTube, and search what you want, look for something, and then videos will pop up, and then from there other videos will pop up, and then like it wasn't the way it is now. It wasn't just giving you content. You had to go and search for content back then on early YouTube. So the fact that Numa Numa was popular enough to and blew up enough to be searched the way it was is a miracle in itself. That is memes. That is viral. That's viral shit in the most original form ever. A very beautiful thing, a very beautiful experience. I don't know the Numa Numa kid. I think his name is Gary Bolsum or something. I hope he's alive and well. But Gary, I hope he knows how many people he inspired to do what he did, to be themselves unapologetically, to create more, to make YouTube its own, to make YouTube tailored to them. I think that's a beautiful thing. And even if he wasn't trying to do that, that's exactly what he did. So kudos, Gary. My hat is off to you. Lastly, the last thing I want to talk about is the memes of today. Now, I do have a handful of them. You probably saw them in passing. But today's memes don't make any sense for the most part. They're not here to make you laugh necessarily. A lot of times they're here to provoke. A lot of times they're politically charged now. A lot of times they are they're creepy and they're creative. One of the best and most recent examples of a meme sort of becoming mainstream is the Backrooms. The Backrooms started as a creative project, eventually became its own meme with people screenshotting parts of the project that they found on YouTube and finding certain imagery interesting and then memeing that. And from there came this entire movie, this entire genre of horror that spawned out of nowhere, spawned literally from what we're talking about right now. From people saying, that's cool, I like the way that looks, I'm going to screenshot it. Guys, look at this, blah, 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 blah. POV when you get lost, whatever, right? Whatever clever thing people put on their screenshots or whatever. Now, like I said, in the mid 2000s, early to mid 2000s, we were able to take memes and do what we want. We had meme generator, for crying out loud, where we can create. We can take something and do it on our own. You didn't have to use meme generator. A lot of times you could just use your phone, especially now, to do whatever it is that you want to do, and either it hits or it doesn't. And for the most part, the ones that hit, everybody knows about. But I have a few more that I want to share. Ones that are like happening today. So here's one from Maya. My So we've seen those. Here is one from 2021. I want to show you that one first because fuck, I gotta go off of this thing again. This one was one of my favorites simply because it didn't make any sense. Fuck. Ah, there it is. This one. Lil Comfit. Now, it doesn't make any sense. Nobody knows what that means. But this meme was attached to a really, really cool, catchy tune. And this AI generated, I assume, bird is called the Opium Bird. And it was a very popular thing in 2021, I believe. And I remember the thing about this meme was you won't understand this until 2027, or people won't understand this meme until 2027. And then in the comments, you'll see Lil Comfit. I don't know what it means. Nobody knows what it means, but it's provocative and it gets people going, is my guess. But nobody knows what Lil Comfit means at all. It's not in a song as far as I know. It's in a song now, because SoundCloud rappers and whatnot. But it's not a real thing. So memes and reels and like memes, especially all this stuff, anything can be a meme now. And that I know that's kind of how it's always been, where everything has been a meme. You can meme anything, you can clip anything, you can reel anything, and it'll be something that can potentially be something that changes pop culture for the future. I'm not saying Lil Comfit changed pop culture, but it became popularized enough to where if you see it again, you recognize it for what it is. I can imagine that this meme will come back in 2027 because, well, you won't understand it because it's a meme from 2027. I imagine that it will come back. Again, absolutely asinine, absolutely makes no sense. The last one that I actually want to share with you guys is one that is currently popular today. And personally, it makes me laugh, even though it's stupid as hell. It's this one.
That bitch up. That big guy.
Oh yeah, appreciate you, buddy. Yes, sir.
Like, what is okay? Why is it a meme and why has it gone viral? That's what I want to know. Why is it a meme and why has it gone viral? Hold on, let me pull this down. So it's stuff like that. It's stuff that like that makes me that makes me appreciate the creativity. Now that specific one wasn't very creative, but this is the direction that memes are actually going in now. They're going in a direction of let me just record his reaction, and then we'll get views off of that. So not necessarily the most creative thing, but in its own way, pretty funny. That big guy. Like, what the fuck did he say? I'm pretty sure he's saying that bitch gas, right? If we're gonna break it down, if we don't want to be an idiot about it and we just break it down, he's saying, oh yeah, that bitch is gas. But he said it in his own way. That big guy. That's just fucking funny. I'm sorry, it's just hilarious. So where are memes headed? Where are memes headed now? What more can they do with the meme than they've already done? Well, surprise, they haven't changed. They started in physical, tangible form, but they're still the same. Nothing's really changed about a meme. It's still silly and for the most part irony, right? Frog smoking, that's hilarious. Still irony. It's still for the most part poking fun at the person watching and the person looking and the person paying attention. That's what memes are. And the only thing that's really been different is how quickly they get popularized and also how quickly they get dismissed when we're over them. Because move over, there's a new one coming. That big guy isn't going to last very long because there's going to be another one coming. More records. But are you a different animal and the same beast? Also a fucking meme. I should have pulled that one up. Kobe Bryant and Kanye West. But I'm the best. But are you a different animal and the same beast? You guys all know that one. You guys have all seen it. Totally a meme. Michael Jordan crying. The Michael Jordan crying meme. Totally a meme. Pop culture has completely like enveloped everything. Memes have completely enveloped everything in pop culture, really. From sports to movies to actors to preachers to churches to you see churches doing regular trends now. What is that other one? The ice bucket challenge that we had a few years ago. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, these aren't just viral trends. These all started off as memes. These all started off as an ironic idea. Let's do this because that'll be funny. Jackass. Jackass was not inspired by anything outside of pure chaos and pure irony of this isn't funny, so let's make it funny. So where are memes headed? Still, I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. I would love to have an answer to that. I would love to if you guys have an answer, let me know. Where do you guys think memes are headed? Are they going to regress back into trading cards because we missed the idea or want to experience the idea of having something tangible that we can look at? Look at Pokemon cards, still a thing, right? Magic the Gathering, still very much a thing. I play. You know what I mean? So it's not like trading cards or trade cards aren't there. These things are valuable. They are a physical, tangible, valuable thing of entertainment. Trade. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my God, I win this because I gave you, you know what I mean? So it's there. The entertainment is always there. And again, this is all entertainment. It's not currency, you know, and I'm sure there are people who have made a lot of currency off of a lot of these things. Here's another one. Dr. Pepper, baby, is good and nice. That's a meme. That went viral. That woman just bought a house because Dr. Pepper paid her for her song. Maybe that's where memes are headed. Maybe memes are now officially headed in a direction where you can be a success. What's the Kane Parsons, who directed The Backrooms? He's 20 years old. Another meme. He's 20 years old. Look it up. Kane Parsons directed The Backrooms at 20 years old. That's legit. Made over $300 million over a movie that started off as a meme. Maybe that's where we're headed. Maybe we're headed in a direction where memes evolutionize the world to the point where more people have more opportunities to see themselves as a success as opposed to just a chronically online incel. It's my hope anyway. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you and your attention. Mikey, thank you so much for being here on the live episode. Hey, he's the only one that's going to catch everything without the copyright, you guys. I hate to say it. If this gets copyright, my bad, but at the same time, be here live. I know what to tell you. So, yeah. So hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully there's not enough seconds in the world to actually give me the copyright that I think I'm going to get. Anyway, I'm sweating. I'm itching. It's hot as hell in here. I really, really, truly appreciate anybody who's willing to watch this episode. Again, if you like this episode, leave a thumbs up. It's very free to do. I have been your host, Miss Tootie Odin. Thank you once again for watching. I will see you guys sometime next week. Bye-bye.